Story 1. My mother and my pets. That is all. If I were not taking care of her or them, I would have ended my life a couple of years ago. Story 2 was family. Most are dead or drifting away. Wife left. Kids grew up. Tonight, I am going to shoot enough .22 long rifle rounds into a target until the center ring falls off. That is what keeps me going. Then I have a bottle of whiskey to finish. Story 3. Knowing that every now and then, I bring a smile to someone's face, probably more often than I think. Story 4. Sheer will. After being abused for over a year by my ex-girlfriend, it was hard to tell my friends that my life was falling apart because of a girl. They would be there for me, still embarrassing nonetheless. But I need my BMW M4 and a girl to ride in it with me. That keeps me going. The M4 is coming next year. Story 5. Sorry to keep posting, but thank God no one tells you at school that life is tough unless you receive an inheritance. Story 6. My wife, parents, pets, and a few true friends that I really trust. Smaller things but still important are new music to enjoy and new games to play in the future. Story 7. Friends and family. I almost died and lost the ability to walk in a motorcycle crash a year and a half ago. I realized how worried they all were and how much of a burden I would have been if I had not been able to walk after spinal surgery. Also, ending your own life is selfish and really upsetting. You are only moving the pain to your friends and family. Story 8. My faith. Jesus has saved me. I have had 2 back surgeries and a battle with cancer. I am still here because of my faith. John 14 verse 6. New International Version. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Story 9. Dream of moving to the European Union, enjoying my 20s and 30s. By then, there will not be a world to live in. Story 10. Usually, it is a vacation on the horizon, but currently, I do not have one, so I guess I need to mark up the old calendar. Story 11. My mother deserves the best. She sacrificed so much for me, and now I want to be the one helping her. Story 12. Children count on me to provide them with what they need in their lives. I will never let them down. Story 13. My new family. The old one wore me down, destroyed me, and then abandoned me. My new family chose me. I choose them. Every day I choose them. Therefore I choose myself. It is amazing what a cyclical relationship feels like. Story 14. Life is going to be hard either way. It can be hard as in being your best self, or hard being a person who is overweight. Story 15. My family, especially my daughter and girlfriend, truly make the world better for me. To be honest, I do not know how much longer I can take it, but they make it hard for me to think about quitting. I do get scared from time to time. Even with therapy and medication, things do not seem to click the way I want them to in my mind. Story 16. The existential dread and the love I experience constantly bring me down. It has actually given me a great gym physique, so I am not complaining. Story 17. Stubbornness and pride are unwise reasons. Death will come eventually. Until then, I have a life to live. Story 18. My family needs me, and the customers at work benefit from my effort. Responsibilities are what make life meaningful. Story 19. Family, friends, my girlfriend, and video games. I feel like I lost all my friends because of a stupid argument not too long ago. They still have me added, including the person who started it, who I don't hate, but I wish he was more forgiving. I don't count coworkers as friends because I don't maintain friendships with them. As for video games, I only play when someone I know is online, never when I'm alone anymore. Sometimes I don't have time to play either. Story 20. My cat. I have made many mistakes, but I have managed to take care of my cat for the past few years. Even on the worst days, I look over and realize my cat needs me. It means something. Story 21. Understanding that the feelings I am experiencing of being overworked and stressed about bills and money is a common issue that many people deal with. No amount of crying, complaining, or negativity is going to fix it. Hard work, determination, and a steady pace are the only ways out to a better life. It is not forever. It is just for now. Story 22. Must be such a blessing to look after a cat. I hope to have a pet one day too. Cats are so loyal and curious. I love them. Glad to hear your car keeps you going. Story 23. Adderall and Red Bull 5 hours after taking the pill. Other than that, my girlfriend and being on the front lines of creating real science fiction technology from television shows and movies 40 years ago, I am a robotics engineer who travels the world. At only 24, I cannot wait to see where we are with robots when I am 30. Story 24. Honestly, I have nothing to live for except to tell the world to go away. I still feel like I should end my life and accept that I will not amount to anything. Story 25. My children, I value their lives more than my own. They make me happy in ways nobody else can. No matter how difficult life becomes, I will endure it for them. I believe we have no guiding principles in life other than what evolution teaches us, that we must preserve humanity at any cost. In my mind, the best way to do this is by raising the best children I can. Story 26. After the death of my mentor from my high school days, I sometimes ask myself why bother anymore. Yet I continue because life is full of missions, and I have to complete them. Story 27. I'm waiting for my breaking point. The day that I stop putting up with people's nonsense and judgment and give them a reality check. Many people who have been speaking negatively about me have no accomplishments to compare. That being said, I'm waiting until the day I can't tolerate it anymore and start using that hate right back. Story 28. It is not about proving people wrong anymore. Those people were losers. Now, it is about proving all the people who believe in me right. Story 29. Hopes that the future has something amazing in store for me. Right now, it is disappointing, though the future could progress a little faster. Story 30. The King of the Hill revival started to air yesterday. I am sure I will find another reason to live by the time it ends. Story 31. A special girl I had in my life. We were not anything romantic though, but she was like the little sister I always wanted, and I am pretty sure I was her hero. Story 32. The fact that I have many wonderful friends, family, and the most amazing fiancé I could ever ask for by my side. That is on top of the fact that I want to live longer than my grandparents, both of whom were only 70 when they passed away. Story 33. When I experience strong suicidal thoughts, my approach is to think, I can just see what happens next. Next means a few minutes from now, hours from now, or sometimes tomorrow. Story 34. I have a ticket for King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard next week. I need to see them live, and then I will decide if I continue going. Story 35. My personal belief is that God is not yet done with me and that I have not fulfilled my purpose yet, despite all of the reckless, risky, and unhealthy things I have done to myself. Story 36. My son and daughter. I think about how it would affect them if I went, and it stops me every time. Not that I am on the brink, but life is rough. Story 37. I have experienced true happiness and I am pursuing it again, knowing I can feel it once more. Young love, the most amazing and compatible partner, ended because of circumstances. Traveling the world and having fun, I know I can have that once more. Story 38. I live so hopefully people will see how I act and be inspired to do the right thing, even when they do the wrong thing sometimes. Story 39. My family, my dog, marching band, drum corps, the trumpet, summer break, holidays, and most of all, my girlfriend. Story 40. The desire to prove to myself that I am worthy and can become a person someone special to me would be proud of, even when they are no longer here. Story 41. Woof. I thought about this and now I just don't know. I think about things such as, what if I died in an accident? I think my mother would be devastated. Every time I've put myself in the hospital, either from heavy consumption or something similar, she always shows up and has nothing negative to say. But if I died, I think it would kill her. I also think about my brothers, and if I lost one of them, would they feel the way I would feel? I hope not, but also hope so. I realize I might live for others to avoid being hurt. Story 42. Life is beautiful. I am fortunate to wake up every morning and live in the most comfortable world history has ever known. I have online resources available to me that my parents could not have imagined at my age. I have family, friends, pets, food, clothing, shelter, running water, air conditioning, and I am privileged. I have my struggles as well, but I am blessed nonetheless. Story 43. I do not want to hurt my parents. I cannot bear the thought of my mother crying at my funeral and disregarding my father's sacrifices. Story 44. I want to outlive my son with special needs. He does not understand death and will think I abandoned him. I never thought I would want to outlive one of my children. Story 45. I think about becoming a statistic every day, but I have work and bills to pay, and that is a lot of work. Story 46. I just turned 46 and have my first child on the way. He is what is keeping me going. I started CrossFit a few weeks ago and want to make sure I can keep up with all the young people on the egg and spoon run. Story 47. I have a child on the way. It is funny, I used to take solace in the fact that I could just end my life whenever, and there were not really any real consequences. My wife and sisters would move on after a while. But now, with a child, I cannot do that anymore, and that stresses me out. Story 48. The chance to do things I now enjoy or hope to find joy in. I went so long in my life feeling like I couldn't be myself, that I was too much, or just in general had awful self-esteem along with being constantly broke and struggling to find my place. I still get sad, frustrated, overstimulated, and lonely, but I've kind of stopped caring overall as much. I'm in my mid-30s, starting to better understand I likely had learning disabilities or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I'm doing my best to be patient with myself and my thoughts and just try to live in the moment as best I can until I can't. So what keeps me going is finding things I think are cool, even if I'm not good at them, like skateboarding. I'm reading when I can, and honestly, for fun rather than feeling like I need to do it to better myself all the time. I'm still overwhelmed, and there used to be much stronger feelings of wanting not to exist. Now I kind of do want to exist and experience things. I'm accepting that things aren't linear, and I'm finding ways to stray from what feels normal. Everything goes on, and I can too for a little longer. Story 49. The ever-dwindling hope that my mortal body will eventually experience something meaningful in this temporary form the universe has given me. One day, maybe, tomorrow. Story 50. Living life to the full for myself and my 2 children after my wife died in March. I have probably 40 to 50 years to live, and I am going to enjoy every moment that my wife did not get to experience. Story 51. Turning 30 this year. I do not want to break my 15-year-old sister's heart. If it were not for hurting her, I would be long gone. Story 52. I'm not sure how to explain that I am a part of the world, and my understanding is all I have. What brings me down is the catalog, not necessarily competition, but competition on a level where lives are impacted negatively. I can only do what I can do, and whatever I do, I will love and appreciate. I will put whatever I have into whatever it might be in the moment. Be what you are. Story 53. I went through hell and back over the last year. I separated and lost my entire social community. My ex-wife tried to make me homeless. I was abandoned on a vacation after being physically abused. I lived with my parents for a few months in a tiny town. It was the most isolated I have ever felt. I moved to be with my sister and have been slowly rebuilding my social circle and getting my finances back together. So what keeps me going? There are still things I want to do in life. I am choosing to do the self-work to make them a reality and build my own identity again. Life is very difficult sometimes, and we all go through extraordinary challenges. Honestly, the only reason I keep going is because I still believe I can build a meaningful life on my own. Story 54. I have been struggling for a long time, but if I did not have my kids, aged 18 and 16, I do not know if my life would be worth living. Story 55. All of the good decisions I have made and the hard work I have done in the last few years to reverse my own mistakes and overcome my self-pity have opened many doors for me. I want to see what other doors will open. Story 56. If it were not for my daughters, I would empty my bank account and spend it on escorts and cocaine until it was gone and I was on the street. People depending on me is the only motivator that has ever worked. Story 57. College, parents, desire to have a child and build a healthy family. After pursuing all that, I end up using drugs, spending all my money, not the money meant for my family, undergo surgery to change my body, travel the world, act recklessly, make too many friends, and probably just end my life from an overdose somewhere in Europe. At that point, I will no longer care. Story 58. To be honest, romantic relationships influence my entire life. I stay in shape for them, make myself desirable, behave well, and treat others kindly. I do all of this in the hope of forming a meaningful connection. Turns out this approach works well. I am very happy, have a fulfilling personal life, run successful businesses, and am in excellent physical condition. However, I would be lying if I said it was not primarily to experience the warmth and affection from a loving partner. Story 59. I have family I am afraid would follow suit, as they have told me they would. It has been extra hard lately, and I am really starting to wonder what the point is. Story 60. Damned if I know. I guess it is the minuscule hope I have that tells me things will get better, even though I have seen no sign of it yet. Story 61. I wish I were not still going. Today, tomorrow, a year ago, a decade ago, 2 decades ago, it does not matter when. My answer stays the same. Story 62. I want to see tomorrow. And tomorrow I know I will want to see the next day. Therefore, I want to live forever. Proof by induction on the positive integers. Story 63. My duty to the Emperor. For as long as Xenos and heretics exist, my duty remains. Only in death does duty end. Story 64. Honestly, nothing in particular. What I mean is that I am just kind of vibing. I am in my mid-20s, living at home, not in school right now, just working and saving money. I am just enjoying floating a little because I know that there will come a point soon enough when I will look back and wish things were this simple, where my only major responsibility is work. Story 65. A dream to develop video games. Independent. Small teams create games where you feel the soul of the creators, spreading warmth and affection through their work to inspire and entertain others. Story 66. Faith in my destiny being on course and my sons. I would plaster the walls if I didn't have someone who is learning how to be a man for me. The thought alone of someone else raising my boys is enough. It is sad when I have 2 stepdaughters as well, and their dad does not care. I treat them all equally. It is extremely difficult because life is extremely difficult if you make choices that cause problems. I fear I will be long dead before they can really process the information, but nonetheless, here we go. Story 67. The realization that when you stop, there is no one to help you get going again. It is best to keep moving forward in this harsh reality. Story 68. I want to set my children and wife up as much as possible for life after me. We are all too young to rely on only one income in the household. They might also need a father along the way, and it would be difficult for my wife for a while. I really love my work and find a sense of purpose in it. I believe the people I work with would struggle if I were gone. Other than that, I do not have much fun outside of time with my children and my job. Story 69. Right now, nothing. In the last year, I broke my shoulder right before moving into my girlfriend's and my new house. I found issues with the house that I overdramatized. Issues with the neighbor that I overdramatized. Had a sinus operation that I overdramatized. Had pneumonia that I overdramatized. Had shingles that I overdramatized. I overdramatized the noisy park next to our house. Told my girlfriend she makes too much noise in the kitchen and when she walks. Got an allergic reaction to insect repellent while camping on my birthday, which I again overdramatized. All this led to my girlfriend leaving me just 1 year after we moved in together. She had been nothing but a sweetheart, asking for hugs and cuddles all year. I have some serious work to do on myself. Story 70. I would like to be forgiven and live on a ranch, employing some people like the Colonel in Legends of the Fall. Find peace. Story 71. Excited for future plans? I am not depressed like everyone else seems to be, and there is a girl I like. Story 72. Surviving until the next mandatory holiday. My work shutdown period just ended unfortunately. 10 days off, completely unpaid, but at least I am not at work. Next up is Labor Day in September. Come on, September. Story 73. What keeps me going is a great question. Living a decent life in honor of my donor is important, being myself and doing all the normal good things I had done before. Making people laugh, smile, or help with their education online is what I do best. I have also always been the person who steps in to help in an emergency. I have had someone else's blood up to my elbows trying to save their lives. In another life, I would have been at least a paramedic. I am medically retired at 62 due to the medications I have had to take for 21 years since I received a life-saving heart transplant. The last couple of years have been tough. I am single, a good cook, and mostly self-sufficient. My faith tells me that the afterlife will be amazing, but that our time here is one and done. We will not come back. I want to squeeze every bit of the experience here on Earth for what it can teach me. Heartfelt admission here. I have literally been on my knees praying recently because it is no longer in my physical capacity to help others, to care for or help them in an emergency. I mourn that loss of ability more than I can express. My life is changing and the next version will certainly be interesting, but I stand through pain and weakness, a warrior born, and will not go easy into that good night. I do not quit. I have already punched the Grim Reaper in the snoot twice. Next time he better be ready for a fight. That was cathartic to put into words. Thank you. Story 74. Cigarettes and alcohol, and that you never know what is around the corner. Things may improve. It is unlikely, but you never know. Story 75. Hey, I have a child to raise and a wife to be by my side. I still have many interesting lines of code to write, but I need to focus on the child part. Story 76. I am fortunate to have a strong network of friends and family. It helps to have a cat who loves me too. Story 77. I have some good friends. They enjoy my company and I enjoy theirs. Also, the next big swell keeps me looking forward. Story 78. Life, man. It's beautiful. It's also messed up, but you can choose what you focus on. High off life, cannabis and alcohol, but also family, friends, and just the beauty of this earth and universe. Story 79. There is too much left I want to do and see. I wasted years of my life on addiction, and I am only starting to overcome the consequences of my bad decisions. Story 80. I've reached an age where much of what I do won't bear fruit in my lifetime. Now, I focus on doing it for others, the child I may never meet who feels something is wrong and needs to occasionally see someone who survived and is doing mostly okay. The people who need a more functional system to complete the last pieces after. I am gone. In the nearer term, I give back to communities that supported me through difficult times. I also hope to create something for my misanthropic friends to support themselves in our later years. For the days when everything feels awful, it is the shiny rocks. I have not seen all the shiny rocks yet, but I would like to try. Story 81. For me, creating art brings me joy, and I never get tired of it. I also want to see what the future looks like, so I want to live to an old age. Story 82. I was talking to a friend about this today. I think it's just hobbies. Having many things I want to do, and everything else is a step closer to doing those things. Story 83. Money, my son, and my cat. If not for the latter two, I would have died chasing the first in a horrible, violent way. Story 84. Forget what life handed me as a child. I am enjoying my adult life just fine now, and I will continue enjoying it for as long as my body allows. Not having parental guidance at all, and watching them ruin their lives, made me feel that my life is in my hands because nobody is going to save me. So I make the most of it, and I do not dwell on who caused problems for me because I am going to work to change what I do not like in my life. Story 85. If I didn't, I know how badly I would be disappointing some people in my life. From my mom to multiple teachers and other friends. They know I am better than what I currently am. Story 86. I need to finish that animated short film for my younger self. That's it. I might end it epically in a Shark Tank or something, but I want to give my inner child the things he never got. Story 87. A wise friend once said to me, It will be okay in the end. If it is not okay, it is not the end. I am not at the end yet. Story 88. My kids. I can barely enjoy spending time with them, but I love them and I cannot let them go through losing me. I cannot hurt them like that. Other than that, I cannot let my wife live her life wondering if it was her fault that I am not around. It would not be her fault. We just were not right for each other despite how much love we had. But I would not be around anymore to reassure her. So I put one foot in front of the other every day and hope that I can feel happy again one day. Story 89. The little hope that refuses to die is that someday this struggle will be worth it. The notion that in an afterlife I will be filled with regret. My parents being sad that I died. They are too good of parents to have a son who kills himself. Story 90. I want to see what new video games, movies, and television shows are coming out. Food. Laughter. New season of I Think You Should Leave. Story 91. As funny as it sounds, my mundane life takes less energy than most things. I hate it. I live vicariously through others and never get out to do anything I really like. I am too concerned about some scenario I made up in my head. It literally cripples me to never leave the house. Story 92. It was anger for a short time after I came out of the coma. A constant feeling of being angry at myself and almost everything around me drove me to take my recovery very seriously and start walking again. After I realized it probably wasn't healthy for me mentally, I began trying to see the beauty around me and appreciate all the things I had taken for granted my whole life, staying positive and upbeat in the face of adversity. Through the entire experience, I learned that anger and spite can help in small doses, but they are not a long-term solution. Appreciating life and striving for improvement is the way to go. There are no extra lives, free men, or save points, and every day alive is a blessing and another chance to improve the situation and make a life worth living. I really enjoy playing this game now, and I still have time to level up before the power button gets pressed and I am no longer here. Story 93. Not sure, to be honest. I guess just the little things. All the little things. A sort of all that would fall apart almost. Story 94. At this point, I am without a wife and children. The economy is in a terrible state. My freedoms are being taken away one after another. And I, like most other men, am regarded as a monster because of some truly heinous acts committed by less than 1% of the male population. I know none of this will improve. All I can do is cling to life out of sheer spite. Story 95. The experience of learning something new can shift your whole perspective and change everything you thought you knew. This is known as the iceberg effect. Do you know how much you do not know? That should fascinate everyone. Stay engaged for it. Story 96. My dad set an example that you do what needs to be done and do not complain about it. He is 94 and still going. When I am tired and want to stop, I think about him and get myself up and go do it. Story 97. My wife and children being happy and not having to face a dark cloud because of me. I think it is extremely selfish for a parent to take their own life and leave their children behind. Story 98. Honestly, life. I do not want to boast, but I love life, my life. I love my parents, wife, friends, and dog. My job is just a simple, stable job. I live to go fishing, read about history, especially military history. I live to cook, camp, kayak, and backpack. I live to set up aquariums and learn about the ecosystems I build. I live to learn about the weather. Life is filled with many interesting things, some of which spark my interests. Story 99. My father. I recently found out he was killed in a car accident before I was born. My mother and family lied to me my whole life and told me he left before I was born. It really changed the way I saw him my entire life, and I want to do right by him. Story 100. I hope to get intimate at least one more time before I leave this planet Earth. Seriously, I have not had sexual relations in at least 30 years. Why 30 years, you ask? That's a question even I cannot answer. I was scammed out of $100 last week. On Facebook Dating, a woman told me to buy a $100 gift card, take a picture of the code, and send it to her. Like a fool, I did that. She looked it up on the computer and told me the card was fake. She never left the house. I never got to see her in person, with or without clothes. Do not feel sorry for me, as I should have known better. Lesson learned. Story 101. God blessed me with the gift of life, so I am going to live my life. I also have a cat for the next 10 years or so, and she deserves a good life. She is a good kitty. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.